Daniel Sports Central, we go over a college football game preview and prediction on the Week 3 matchup between the Penn State Nittany Lions and the Auburn Tigers. Huge matchup for both these teams coming up here in Week 3. You got Penn State, who's still undefeated. They're now ranked in the top 25, and they're definitely a team that could be a dark horse Big Ten contender. And they're taking on an Auburn team that is still undefeated at 2-0, but they definitely have a chance to get their first big win of the season here. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Penn State beat Ohio 46-10 in their Week 1 matchup. So overall, a solid win for the Nittany Lions. They also beat Purdue in Week 1, which, Purdue, I do think Boilermakers are a pretty good team. So for Penn State to go on the road there, I would say that was a pretty impressive Week 1 win as well. And being ranked at 22 is definitely deserving for Penn State. And as for Auburn, kind of a close game against San Jose State, 24-16, got the win, but definitely a bit closer than expected there for the Tigers. And they're also 2-0 heading into this matchup. Games be on Saturday, September 17th in Auburn, so the Tigers are the home team for this matchup. And your kickoff is 3:30 p.m. Eastern. Spread's going Penn State here by 3, so the Nittany Lions are slightly favored in this matchup according to the spread. Same with the FPI, going Penn State 61%. And your over-under is 49. So lower scoring game is expected here. And Penn State obviously is favored, but not by too much. Series history, Penn State leads at 2-1. They did play last season. Penn State and Auburn did, which in the end, the Nittany Lions did win that matchup. Your stat comparison for this one, Penn State 40 points per game so far this season, 20 allowed, 323 pass yards a game, 166 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, 264 for passing, 80 for rushing. So rush defense so far has been a big strength for Penn State, and they've been primarily a passing offense. As for Auburn, 33 points per game, 16 allowed, 190 pass yards a game, 247 rush yards. Then for yards allowed, 236 for passing, and then 64 for rushing. So, defensively, Auburn is very strong so far this season, but also, they're more of a rushing offense versus passing, at least so far this season, with an average of 247 rush yards. Your recent matches for both these teams, Penn State beat Ohio 46-10, and of course Penn State also beat Purdue 35-31. And once again, I think Purdue is they're a good football team. I do think Purdue is going to have a lot of success this year, and so for them to beat Purdue on the road in Week 1 definitely was an impressive win for this team. And then for Auburn, beat San Jose State 24-16, beat Mercer as well 42-16. So they really haven't played a really good opponent so far. So this is the first game where they can really prove themselves here if you're Auburn. But, of course, taking on a Penn State team, there's no doubt it's going to be a tougher matchup here for Auburn. But even for Penn State, this is their second road game in their first 3 matchups. You could say also their second tougher game in their first 3 as well. So key points for this one, both teams 2-0. Nittany Lions have been impressive so far. No doubt about that, with a dominant win last week and their win over Purdue. Sean Clifford, obviously one of the most experienced quarterbacks in the Big Ten. He's a good quarterback. I think Penn State has got potential with him, but of course you can't forget about Drew Aller, who's a quarterback who's right behind Sean Clifford. And I think Drew Aller is a true freshman, if I'm right about that. And he's definitely, he is very talented. We saw him a little bit in the Purdue game, and I think he's definitely a quarterback that shows a lot of potential. So looking forward to seeing how that ages. But it looks like for now, Sean Clifford is going to be the primary starting quarterback for this team, and they're fully able to be a contender in the Big Ten this season. Penn State, I think, is a team that a lot of people are overlooking here. You got Ohio State and Michigan. Those are by far the top 2 in the Big Ten East. But Penn State, I'm not saying that they're going to win the Big Ten East this season, but that's definitely a team that I could see, being up there, maybe even into that top 3, top 2. But yeah, Penn State, obviously this is a game where they can definitely prove if they're worth that or not. And we're honestly going to learn a lot about both these teams in this matchup here, I think. I think for Auburn being a team that, they definfinitely have been a little bit concerning. TJ Finley at quarterback hasn't been great so far. 22 for 34, 279 yards, a touchdown, thrown 3 picks. So he's already thrown 3 picks this season against 2 teams that aren't very good. That's a little bit of a concern. They obviously have got a great running back in Tank Bigsby, who's put up already nearly 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I see potential in Auburn for sure. But I mean, this is, and once again though, this is where Auburn can prove that they can be a good team this season, going up against a team that could be one of the top teams in the Big Ten here in Penn State. Auburn also has got the home field advantage here. I mean, this is a chance for a great win here for Auburn. There's no doubt. I mean, going up against Mercer and San Jose State, it's tough to tell how this team is going to be. But once again, we're going to learn about both these teams quite a bit in this matchup here. But that said, let's get to the prediction here for Penn State and Auburn coming up here in week 3. I'm going to go with Penn State to get the win here, 27-23 is my predicted final score. This is one that I went back and forth on quite a bit. I mean, this is a game where both teams could definitely win. It's probably going to be more of a defensive, lower scoring matchup. I am in the end taking the over for this game, but I do think, I mean, this game could just as easily go under here. I mean, you got two teams with fairly good defenses. I think Penn State's offense is slightly better than Auburn's, and that's what gives them the edge in the end. Penn State 51%. Once again, this is basically a coin toss. Both teams could most definitely win this matchup. But I think Penn State in the end, they end up pulling it out in the end. But once again, certainly could go either way. I'll take the over. Penn State to cover the spread in the end, which is currently at 3 points towards the Nittany Lions. In the end, 27-23 is my predicted final score. Penn State going to win this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this matchup, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.